Good morning and Jai Hind students. I welcome you all once again in this class. Children, in the previous class we had discussed active and passive voice, and in today's class we shall recapitulate and do certain questions on this topic. Okay, and those who were waiting for one more lecture on active and passive voice, please pay your keen attention to this class so that you may not miss anything which is not clear to you. Okay, so let us continue with the same topic. So here you learned that voice is a form of verb. You know that verb is the most important thing in any sentence. Okay, if there is no verb, there cannot be any sentence. You can try making any sentence if you can make without verb. Okay, that phrase will not be making any sentence without any verb. All right, so there voice is very important, and further in this you learn that voice is divided in two parts, active and passive voice. Now the question is why it is divided in two parts, active and passive. We know very well in the previous class that we had discussed that active voice is used to highlight the doer. Okay, there you show the activity, you may show the activity, you may not show the activity, but there your purpose is to highlight the person, okay, who is doing the activity, who is the agent. Somewhere it may be written in some text, agents, the doers, okay, or the subject. Okay, so there if you want to highlight that, you will make use of active voice. For example, Ramesh is playing cricket. So simply you want to show that what Ramesh is doing, what activity is being done by Ramesh. So you are showing. In a way, you are making use of Ramesh in the place of subject. Okay. So that's clear that active voice is used to highlight the doer, who the doer is. Whereas passive voice is used to highlight the activity. Ramesh is playing cricket is an active voice, but the activity is cricket. And if you want to make it in passive voice, if you want to highlight the activity, you will have to make in passive voice this sentence, and you will say cricket is being played by Ramesh. Okay, so here in place of subject you have first of all put cricket. So this is the thing only. Okay, so here you learned that why do we make use of active voice, why do we make use of passive voice. So that you learned about use of passive voice is not only that much. There are many reasons for making use of passive voice. So that for the first I told you is when you want to highlight the activity. So you would have seen everywhere, or in fact many times when you listen or speak, most of the time you talk about the things, you do not talk about the persons. Okay, so there you make use of passive voice. So the conclusion is that passive voice are used for different reasons. For example, number one, to highlight. If you are having notepad anywhere, please write down whenever you jot down anything on your own. So there it retains forever in your mind. Okay, it retains, okay, in your mind forever. So if you are having any pencil or notepad with you or any pen, please write down on the top, write down voice and categorize it active and passive, and write down voice is a form of verb, and then show that active voice is used to highlight the doer and passive voice is used to highlight the action. Okay, and further when you have written, write down that passive voice is used to highlight the unknown doers. When the doers are not known, there you will make use of passive voice. Okay, it is not used to highlight unknown persons, but it is used to highlight, it is used when the doers are unknown. Okay, number two this is. Okay, and number three is that when you want to write any headlines, whether it is in a magazine or newspaper or on the display board or anywhere. If you want to highlight the news, the main things that is to be conveyed to the reader or spectators or visitors, so there you will make use of passive voice. Okay. Next is passive voice is used where the doers are understood. That was also discussed in the previous class. Okay, where the doers are well understood. Okay, and when we make use of process of something, when we describe process of something, so there we use passive voice. That was also told you. Okay, so these are the different usages, and now we shall proceed. So I can give you 2 minutes to write down the different aspects that I have told you about passive voice. Perhaps I told you 5 points. So please write down and in your notebook all these 5 points, and tell me that you have done in the chat box. I'm waiting for you. Whatever uses of passive voice described here just now are to be written in your fair notebook. Write down the uses of passive voice now. Though you can listen the things, watch the video again, but I want you to write it now. I want to see how much you have grasped when you are listening these things. Go through it, children. There I have not written the different uses of passive voice, but you are asked to write down. Have you written anything in your notebook? Be sincere. Well, I am not going to see anything that you have written or not. I will just ask you, and you have to answer sincerely, yes or no. Be sincere in your wordings. Okay, whether you have any problem. Last in the previous class, or some students were having some problems and they dropped their questions in the chat box and it was resolved. So if you are having any problem, please write down in the chat box, or you can also ask me in the group. But do make your problem uh, clear. Do put it before the teachers, otherwise it shall never be curbed. Okay. All right, I hope you would have written. Now we shall proceed further. You can see here that active voice is written as sentences made in active voice. Adam cleared the kitchen. So here this is a simple past. So here Adam is the subject and cleared is the verb, and it is the kitchen object. So there are basically three things: subject, verb, and object in a sentence. Okay, and where there is no object in a sentence, there you cannot make any passive voice. Okay, though some of the sentences can be started from let, it, they. So these sentences can be made with the help of be, and then uh, you can make use of third form of the word. It can be, but if there is no object, generally you do not make any sentence in passive voice. Okay, because to make passive voice you need a special sort of verb, and it is called transitive verb. Okay, transitive verbs are required. Transitive verbs are the verbs which needs object to describe the verb. Okay, next is children. Here in today's class I will describe you only the most important things, because we have to do certain exercises. Here see that the active voice subject is changed into passive voice here, and the object in active voice is brought here in the place of subject of passive voice. Now the most important thing that I told you in the previous class is that you can make changes easily, but the thing is that how will you make use of helping verb and the main verb? This is the most important thing, which is highlighted here in yellow. Okay, so this is the most important thing. If you will learn use of helping verb, There you will learn everything in active and passive voice, because the main verbs in passive voice is always written in third form, and there you write by preposition, and then you write object, where the objects are understood or not to be highlighted, okay, or the doers are not known in active voice, unknown. So there you will not write by and object, but you will have to write subject plus helping verb plus third form of the verb. This is the most important thing. So the most important thing in this class is to learn when to make use of different sort of helping verbs with the third form of the verb in passive voice. Okay, that we shall have a bird's eye view on it, and then we shall go to do some exercises. Okay, see here, you can see that simple present tense. Simple present tense, I was talking about helping verbs. So take care of helping verbs, okay, prominently, okay. So here is, am, are. These are the three helping verbs that you can make use of in passive voice. Otherwise, the third form of the verb is always used. So it is nothing wonder to you now, I think, okay. So here you will have to pay attention about this, is, am, are. Now if the sentence is he lights the candle, so you will write the subject, which will be here in a passive voice. You will write the subject which will be taken from. Please write down in the chat box. When you are writing passive voice, where will you take your subject from? Write down briefly. Please write down in the chat box. If you are making passive voice, where will you take your subject from? Be quick, children. If you are writing, if you are making sentences in passive voice, where will you take your subject from? Okay, correct. You will take your subject from the object of active voice. Okay, you will take your subject from the object of active voice. Here, this, you will take this and put here. And if the subject that you have written here in passive voice, if the subject that you have written here in passive voice is in plural form, so there you will use are. If the subject is in singular form, you will use is. And if it is I, you will use am, because am is the verb which you only use with I. There is no other subject which is used with am verb. Okay, no other way. All right, next is, we shall take only one examples from each. Okay, then we shall proceed further. Next is here present continuous tense. Okay, there in present continuous tense, again you use is, am, are, plus there is one thing, being. This is the new thing. And then you use third form of the verb. This is not any wonder. So the first example is I am. Here in the present continuous tense, you describe something that is going on. So I am driving a car. Okay, so here you will take your subject here in passive voice from the object of active voice. Okay, and if the question is to change the passive voice in active voice, so there you will change the sentence and you will take your object from the subject of passive voice. Okay, next is the use of helping verb. You have taken the subject, now you will take helping verb. Now what sort of helping verb, or which helping verb will you use here? The helping verbs that you can use are given here above. The first is, you can use am, you can use are. There is no other helping verb that you can use in present continuous tense while making passive voice. Okay, but the most important thing is being. Okay, if you are making a sentence from continuous tense, whether it is in present continuous, whether it is in past continuous, whether it is in future continuous, you will have to make use of being, being. Okay, being, and this being word comes between the helping verb and the third form of the verb. Okay, all right, next is, here you have taken the subject from the object, you have taken the helping verb, Now the helping verb is. Why? Because you cannot write are, because the subject is singular. Okay. Next is being, that use to be is to be used prominently because the sentence is from continuous tense. And then the third form of the verb will always be there from the verb given in the active voice. It is in ing form. It is also said present participle. Okay, when the verb is in ing form, it is also written v1 plus ing, okay, or written v4. So you will take this ing verb, and you know that the main verbs used in passive voice is always in third form of the verb, and then you can use by preposition and then object, which is taken from the subject. Next is present perfect. Here in present perfect, there are two helping verbs. Here in this class particularly, I am insisting on the learning of helping verbs, because here in passive voice you have learned that the third form of the verbs are used, and then you use being in continuous tense, you use been in perfect tense, but here the most important thing is the helping verb. So here in present perfect you use only two helping verbs, has and have. Okay, so if the sentence is in active voice in present perfect tense, for example, she has stolen my book. So here you will take my book. The subject will be taken from the object of active voice. Here you have taken my book. And then you will take helping verb. What sort of helping verb can be taken in perfect tense? Present perfect tense, there are only two helping verbs which can be taken in present perfect tense are has and have. Alright. And then you use been between the helping verb and the main verb, and which always remain in third form. So you have written here, my book has been stolen by her. Okay. Next is children simple past. Now, as I discussed in the previous class, that every perfect continuous tense, whether it is present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, or future perfect continuous, is not changed in passive voice. One more is there, it is future continuous. The reason is that whenever you make these tenses perfect continuous, so there you make use of the verb in ing and you use been. That is why. And here when we make the sentences in continuous tense, there we use being. It is as per rule. We have to use the verb in with this being word whenever the sentence is in continuous tense, and we use been whenever the sentence is in perfect tense. So if we shall make the changes in present perfect continuous or past perfect continuous or future perfect continuous in passive voice, there we will have to repeat being. Okay, being or been. So to avoid repetition of verbs of similar degree, we do not make use of present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, and future continuous in passive voice. For example, if you make any sentence here, I have been driving a car. So this is in active voice, present perfect continuous. I have been driving. So here been is already used. And the moreover this, there, here the main verb is here in ing form, and been is also used. So there two different sort of verbs are already used. Okay. And if main verb in continuous tense is written in ing form, there you will have to change it with being in passive voice. And you cannot write the car has been being driven by me. Has been being cannot be written. So to avoid this error, such errors, we do not make use of these sentences in passive voice. Okay. Next is simple past. She finished. So here there are only two helping verbs that you make use of, was and were, and the third form of the verb. And so you will write work was finished. The main verb will always be in third form. In the same way, past continuous. She was receiving his books. His books. So here the subject is plural in form, which is taken from the object of active voice. Okay, the subject is in plural form. That is why you are using here were. Otherwise, you would have used was. Now you will use being. Why? because the sentence is in continuous tense. So whenever the sentence is in continuous tense, you will make use of been. And then the main verb will always remain in third form, and main verb will also be taken from this active voice. In the way past perfect tense, in perfect, you can use had verb, as you know that only had verb, helping verb is used there, but you will have to use been because this is perfect. Okay. Next is simple future. In simple future, you will use will or shall plus be. Okay. So my uncle will pay my tuition fee. So my tuition fee will be. So here the subject is taken from this object of active voice, and then you will use will, as I have been telling you that helping verb is the most important thing, and then you will use be. Okay, as per the rule. As per the rule, there are two helping verbs, will, shall, and then be, and then the verb is in third form always. Okay, in the way. Now future perfect continuous, shall have been. Okay, we shall have done our homework. So you will write our homework from this object, and then you will write shall from the formula, and there are only two helping verbs that you can use in future perfect, will or shall, and then you will write have been. Okay, here as per the formula, have been. Okay, and then the main verb will come, which will always be in third form. Okay, so these are the thing, and whenever the modals are used, whenever you are making use of modals, there you will always use be. Okay, I cannot solve these sums. These sums cannot be solved by me. I can solve these sums. These sums can be. So here after modals you are using be. Okay, and then third form of the verb. And where the subject is taken? The subject is taken from this object of passive voice. Okay. In the same way, has to, have to, whenever you are writing these has to, there you will write be after these verbs which works as modals. Okay, next is must, may, might, should. In the way you will write must be, may be, might be. It is quite simple, children, and should be. Okay, now the imperative sentences. In imperative sentences, you can see shut the door, let the door be shut. Again you will use be. Okay, and then the main verb. Okay, shut the door, let the door be shut, post the letter at once, let the letter be posted. So here what are you doing? You are using let word. Okay, and then the letter, the object is written. So first of all, when it is imperative sentences, command, request, order, so there you can write, if you think that it is simply asked, so you will say let. If you think that it is a request, please sorry, please is mentioned here, so you will write here you are requested. Okay, if you think that it is order, so you will write you are ordered. Okay, if you are confused, you can write let. Okay, sometime if you do not understand whether it is order, command, or so, write down let, and then you will write the subject, and the subject will be taken from the object, the door here, and then the verb in this word be. Okay, as you use be verb with the modals, similarly you will use be verbs with these sort of sentences. I mean to say that imperative sentences. With imperative sentences, you will write let, you are requested, and ordered. Now see this, have a look on this, that these are the pronouns that are changed in passive voice. In the way I will be changed into me, you will remain same. She, they, them, in the way you would have gone better. And this exercise is to be done by you perhaps. Now this is not discussed in the previous class as the time was over. So let me describe. It is a bit easy for you. I think that if you will Go through these sentences, you will find the things, the differences easily. Here in simple present, what you are doing, he files a report. So here a report is filed by him. So what is shown here? Continuous tense, filling. Here you have written is being. As I told you, everywhere when it is continuous tense, whether it is present continuous or whether it is past continuous, was filling. So you will write was being. The reason I said that it is a bit easy for you, because most of the all the sentences are same. So if the sentences are same, you might find ease to understand these concepts. Okay, and here in present perfect, here has filled, you are using been, okay, between the helping verb and the main verb. Okay, again here in present perfect, had filled, and you are using been between the helping verb and the main verb. So that's it. Now children, as I told you that why do we make use of passive voice, the same thing is described, and along with why uh, by or objects are not to be used. So there, when the doer is unknown, there you do not make use of passive voice. When you want to make emphasis, means stress, when you want to lay stress on the activity, there you need not to mention this, the doer. And when the doer of the action represents large group, okay, there you need not to, for example, because it is also understood. For example, here a lot of sugarcane is grown. Now everybody knows that it is grown by farmers, so it is not mentioned. Obvious, when the things are obvious, there you do not make use of these things and the statement here. So now we are going to do some exercises, and let me open another. Let me open this, children, another file, please. I'm just opening other files which is having some questions. So here you are. No, not this. Models. Here you are. Okay, this one is. This is the exercise, children. So here you are with the questions. Do it quickly. Hope everything is visible. If you have done, do these exercises, these questions. Okay. Exercise number 2. Come on. Quickly write down the 5 answers. You have 1 minute only. Okay. Immediately write all the answers and see for your help that is given in the parenthesis, means in the bracket. Okay. In the bracket, the things are given how the sentences to be made. Otherwise, the sentences can be made in different ways. Okay. So be careful. Do it immediately, and I will proceed. If you have done the 5 sentences, please write down in the chat box. Yes, I have done. Your time is over, children. Now match the answers. The first is seen. Okay, and the second is here, which actor had been. Here you will write the verb in third form, and the third, can be seen. Here, can be seen. The fourth, have been made. Okay, and the fifth is here, was given. Okay, Now see these sentences and do it quickly. You have 1 minute. And after this, the class will get over. Children, do these sentences. We could not do as many as exercises as we had expected, but no problem. In the revisional classes, we shall do some exercises, okay, again on this chapter. So do the questions immediately. You have very less time. We are already running out of time. So if you have done, please write down in the chat box, yes, I have done. This was also given to you as homework, and I guarantee that many of the students would have not done these questions. So I have taken the same questions so that those who have done will get the clear answers and check back the answers, and those who have not done will do the questions in the classroom. Okay. So your time is over, children. Now listen the answers here that is written. The sixth answer is being shown here, is being shown. The seventh answer is was made, was made here. Eighth answer is has been shown. The main verb will always in third form. Okay. And ninth is has been given. Tenth is was given. Okay. And these three will be done by you. There are many exercises, children, with the points that I have discussed with you. So there are many exercises that you can do, and please do go through the exercises so that you may have command on the rules and the different sort of examples from active into passive. All right, and the class is over. I hope this time you would have got the things. Even at all, if you did not get, please write down in the chat box. Okay, and I will reply you. But please be sincere in the official WhatsApp group. Be sincere. Show your sincerity. I do not mean to say that don't criticize. You are open. Means I have been in habit to accept the criticism with open arms. Okay, but there must be a standard. There must be a way. You are not talking to your friend. You are talking to your teacher. And whenever you speak, whenever you go anywhere, okay, whenever you do any task, you represent your parents, you represent your school. So be careful that any wrong done by you will be making a question on your parenting and the schooling. Okay, be careful about this. And I think that you are a sincere one. You all are sincere one because you are student of Sunbeam Academy, a reputed institution. All right. With this, have a nice day. Thank you.